Jesus is God first. What's up, everybody?
Yep. Hello, Gun Nation.
God first. How's
Hello, all.
What's up, everybody?
Yep. Hello, Gun Nation. Somebody mute.
That,
All right. Gerald probably will be back. We got Logan, Craig, KSGunGuy's on.
hey.
Jesus is God. We got Captain Phil, Logan, and we got some Jesus is God. Nick's on. Sawat's on. Papa's Place. Sean. G-Man. What's up, G-Man? We already have some questions. Let's see. Let's get Jesus. Well, Captain Phil got to see the local FBI's new Glock 19 that they are issued. I'm assuming that's probably a Gen 5. But they did have that. What was it? The M series also.
I think that's actually what it is, and I think it basically is a Gen 5. I think there are a couple of differences.
Yeah, because if you look at the earlier, you know, they had put them out to some stations, and they were running them, and there's actually articles about them because they had them out. What was it, about 8 months ago, and the slides were coming off, but they found out what it was. The little pull-down tabs weren't locking back up, so the guys would pull them down, and they would stick down, and they would go to shoot them, and the slides would slide off.
That's fun.
Yeah, but they supposedly fixed it. They sent them in and got them fixed. But Jesus is God has a question. I bought some 380 RIP ammo, and so Iraqi veteran tested and went through a watermelon, not the soda bottle on the other side. Thoughts on that ammo?
I don't have any experience with it. I've watched videos on it from various folks over the last, because it's been out a little while now.
Oh yeah.
And it's certainly fascinating to watch that ammo if I'm thinking of the right one. But I think, I mean, I'm not a ballistics expert by any stretch of the imagination, but I personally don't care for it very much. I would prefer a regular bullet, hollow point for defense that does what it's supposed to do, the wound cavity and all that kind of stuff. But again, it's fascinating to watch, if nothing else.
Yeah, I don't have any experience with that ammo.
Yeah, I actually the University of Oklahoma bought some from Cops Gun Store in Oklahoma, and they did in Oklahoma City, and they did a test on it. And they had problems with, because it has like these little knife-looking things on the end of it. They had some problems with it feeding in to certain pistols at where the feed ramp is. And then also it wasn't very, it didn't go deep enough on the ballistics. It's fragmental, so the pieces were breaking off and they were going all over the place like they should, but it wasn't penetrating deep enough. So they rejected it, but that's just the University of Oklahoma's findings, and they had a little report, and Austin had it there at the store, and I was reading it, but, that's for what that's worth. I've seen FBI, that where they shoot it through the jail on YouTube and stuff like that, but I think it's a little gimmicky. It's not like a Lehigh defense. That stuff's awesome. I've shot Lehigh, and it's pretty incredible stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cajun is asking, Cajun Tigers, was my match at the Dallas Gun Club? Yes, it was. Let's see here. We had another question here. On this match, Cajun's asking again. This time I was 23rd out of 45. So, getting better. I haven't gone down. I've only gone up, so that's always a good thing.
That's good.
Let's see here. Sawat said, so he shot the Gen 5 Glock 19 yesterday. It's freaking boring, but he was very accurate with it. Just freaking works.
You know what? I think it's a great way to sum it up. It is kind of boring. I mean, it's a Glock, even though they've made some changes. I don't think anything wowed anybody, judging by the comments on my last two videos. But they work. And I want to kind of come back to this topic here after we get some more questions, because I've accumulated enough feedback to where I've got some interesting perspectives from the general public on Glock Gen 5. So we'll come back to that.
Yeah.
Maybe Suet should be their PR person, and that should be their new motto. Freaking boring, but it works.
There you go. That's right.
Yeah, I've actually put my hands on one and looked at it, and it just kind of looks like a Glock to me with a little bit, flared mag well at the bottom. And like I've said, and I kind of said it joking around, but in all seriousness, the FNS9 has had that for 3 years now, and it's got the front serrations and steel sights. So I don't know. But I mean, Glock and I don't personally agree, but that's just me. Young Gun. Well, let's see. We've got Paradox on here. We've got Rich, Knuckles, Al, Alan B Pro, Logan, Live for Wild's on. Let's see here. There was another question. Bald and Curious, Big J, need holster for Sphinx. The holster selection is very low for Sphinx. I actually took mine in and had it made. I think on the Sphinx website, or not Sphinx, the hell's Chris, on the Chris Vector website, you can go on and they have about 3 to choose from. They're already pre-made for the Sphinx. So Chris Vector's website, he has them. It's called Chris USA, actually.
Actually, Big Johnson did have a question, and it was about the Shadow 2, and I think it was weight of bullets, 115, 124, or 147. What is your recommendation?
I have shot 115. I've shot 124. I have not shot 147. The 115 is a little snappy. Of course, all 115 is, even in that heavy of a gun. 124 keeps it down. The perfect load, other than reloading it yourself, but it's very hard to find. And I was told this by the humble marksman: if you want close to a competition load, but you want to buy it off the shelf, you want the American Eagle 124 grain, and you want subsonic. It's made for suppressor, and it's supposed to equal a competition load, but it's about $16 a box, and it's kind of hard to find.
Jeez. We had another question from Cajun Tigers. Has anyone heard, and this is for everyone in the group, because I think a lot of people out in the crowd have SIG P320s. Has anyone heard from SIG yet?
Nope.
To be honest with you, I haven't even filled out the paperwork on it yet. I'm going to change out the trigger, put my factory trigger back in it, pull the apex out, and switch the frames before I even send it in. But I was going to do that first and then fill out all the crap and I guess wait in line like you guys are.
Right. Big Johnson, I pulled a U on Tuesday, and I called SIG and talked to a very nice guy. I mean, I will say that every time I've ever talked to somebody at SIG, they are incredibly nice. So they're very polite and very courteous. So I appreciate that. He was very honest with me and said he doesn't know and he can't tell anyone anything, and which I kind of expected, and I appreciate that. And I said, do you think, and I was trying to goad him a little bit. I was like, in the next month or something. And he said, I really can't say. So I think it's one of two things. Either they're still amassing the population to be able to start, or they're not ready yet. And I'm not sure which one it is.
Well, like you and I said, maybe they put these, fixes they thought they had. Maybe it's, they've still done more testing and it's not working, or like you said, maybe it's just they can't build enough parts to fix them yet. So they want to ramp up before they start taking all these guns in.
Yeah.
What do you think, 17?
I think they don't have a game plan, to be honest with you. I mean, with all the thousands of guns they sold, and now all of a sudden they're doing a non-mandatory optional recall for what I would call a defective handgun.
Yeah,
I don't think they can cope with the amount of guns that they have to recall, period. And like any other recall, I mean, it's going to take time. At least they're not charging anybody to have their guns sent back like, some other people we know out there. So I think it's just about patience at this point. And I'm sure, at some point in the near future, maybe we'll get an email saying, all right, we want to, your gun to come back. But I don't think they have the ability to satisfy the amount of guns that'll probably be coming back to them right now. So they're maybe just trying to stock up on parts before they start recalling.
I mean, that makes sense, Otherwise they're going to have a huge turnaround time. They're going to have people's guns for months and months and months. And I'm sure they don't want that because that's going to affect their customer service also.
Yeah. And, Al is asking if I meant mechanic. I did. I'm sorry, guys. I had 2 of them, and you guys can go and watch those 3-hour long videos that I made on all of them. But you know what? I'm sorry if you have a defective gun and there's a defective piece or a defective part, and now they're unsafe, and you're recalling them, but you're having the person who bought the gun from you pay to have it shipped back and shipped back to themselves is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm actually, and I mean, I'm not really joking around either. I'm actually considering just shooting that damn Canic. I mean, I don't really give a shit about it. I haven't shot that thing in over a year. Big Daddy G says he's officially in the poorhouse. Just bought a PPQ before the rebate ended and a Steyr M9. Anyone have an extra room at their house? I think the wife might kick me out.
No, I might be joining you if I ever buy that damn Strike B. We'll be on the road together.
I say, Big Daddy, as long as you bring some guns, you can come my way. We'll make it a picnic.
Everybody party at Big Johnson's house.
Yeah. Let's see here. Was the Mateo says you liking the hat. Oh, hell yeah. What it's all about. Yeah. Oh, Alan's talking about that high dollar orange mag follower.
On the Glock.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's pretty fancy.
Listen, that took years of development. Okay?
And no other manufacturer has ever thought of that before.
Yeah. Yeah. Mateo just put a Steyr L40 on order.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, there you go. Look at you selling some Steyrs.
Yeah, no.
I still hadn't got my CZ check. I've been waiting on my commission check from CZ. I still hadn't got that.
Yeah, I think we've decided that 1776 is going to be the poster child for Steyr.
Yeah, man. Good guns. They don't fail. I'll tell you right now. Well, at least mine don't fail. I can't speak for all of them.
Right.
As I'm like cleaning up the P10, which is not really on my good side right now. But one thing I wanted to bring up was have you guys noticed, and I know this isn't really a gun thing, but I'd like to know if the viewers out there and you guys have noticed this, but have you noticed the amount of trolling that's been going on lately? It seems like it has spiked considerably the past 2 weeks. Trolls.
Yeah, I told you I've had 5 videos stolen in the last 2 weeks. It's been out of control.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I haven't had any videos stolen yet. I'm sure it's coming, but I have had a lot of trolls, a lot of bored people, put it that way.
Yeah. Apparently people don't like the American flag on guns or holsters. They got a lot of trolls on those. So apparently we got a lot of flag haters in the crowd.
Yeah, and earlier, before our chat started, I actually got a comment from Will, and he's on the chat. So I wanted to, on my VP9, he was asking, about the weak ejection. I think he just got a VP9, and it has the 124 grain spring in his also. Mine has the 124 grain spring. I was shooting 115 because there was no indication that I needed to shoot 124. And I was shooting it, and it was literally just coming out and hitting my wrist. It was super weak ejection. Well, later found out it had a 124 grain spring in it. So what I did is I pulled the slide back, just left it like that for a week. In the meantime, I had talked to H&K, and they said, well, you can send your spring in, and they'll unspring it and put the 115 grain spring on there. And I said, well, that's horseshit, because then I won't have it to shoot it.
Right.
And anyway, they said, well, if we get returned guns or test and evaluation guns or department guns that are returned, maybe he could come up with one. So he actually emailed me and said, hey, I've got you a complete spring assembly, and sent it to me. That's how I got mine. And I've got some other testing I'm going to be doing on them. And then I've got these +5 base plates for the HK VP9 that I'm going to be running the crap out of too. So that's going to be
I don't know if you noticed Captain Phil's comment. He was triggered by the Glock in the holster, so he has to go tear a statue down.
Nice, nice.
Oh man, and we've got one in Dallas, and it's Robert E. Lee on a horse.
Oh, yeah, I read that.
And it's got the other horse beside him. They've got barricades around it, and they're telling people, "Don't come tear it down. We're probably going to remove it properly and put it in storage." And I'm like, "What?" That's in one of the oldest parts of Dallas. I just can't believe this shit's happening.
Yeah, well, end of days, I guess. Who knows? Who knows?
Did you see Bald's Curious 17? He said there's nothing wrong with Canic other than 1776 didn't give me the slide racker.
Oh, I didn't give that to you?
Oh no. Shit.
Oh. Like you really need it anyway.
Right, right. Hey Pops, bye Pops.
Hi and bye.
We're losing all of our viewers. Great. All right, we better start talking about guns.
Yeah, right. Let's talk about guns.
All right, so I want to get into this for a minute because it's been a fascinating discovery over the last couple of weeks. Now that the Glock Gen 5 has come out and people have had an opportunity certainly to review them and say all sorts of things, good, bad, indifferent, whatever. But the comments that have been coming in have been incredibly fascinating. And I would say that 85% of the comments that have been coming in have been negative, and in some cases extraordinarily negative, and not to a point where it's like, you know, not bashing anything, but they're putting down the gun, and so it kind of got me thinking. And this question is for everybody out there, whether you have an experience with Glocks or not. Your answer and your opinion is still certainly very welcome and relevant. What are you actually looking for? Because I've sat back and I've thought about the Gen 5s versus the previous generations, and I've owned Gen 2s all the way up until now. I never had a Gen 1. So I've watched the evolution, and I've shot all the different iterations of the Glocks, and some I like more than others. But what is everybody looking for? I mean, everybody has panned everything. They say, no, it's the Gen 4. No, it's the Gen 3. Well, shit. What is it that you're looking for? I mean, I'm just really curious. What does Glock have to do to earn the commentary glowing that they used to have? I mean, obviously they're still selling them. I mean, they sold out in like 2 hours, 18 of them at my local shop. So people are still buying them. But what are people looking for?
Well, I think they're buying them on name alone. You know, there's a lot of Glock collectors out there, and you know, you guys know that. I mean, they have Gen 1, Gen 2, you know, everything. You know, they just grab them and, you know, load them up. So, I mean, I don't necessarily think that there's a huge, I mean, honestly, and I know that you're familiar with the Gen 1. I know they've done some changes, but are the changes they're doing vastly different? Now, this one, you know, none of the stuff can transfer over to the other models, as you've explained. But, I mean, we all know they work. We all know they're, you know, reliable guns. But have they done anything vastly out there?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't know what vastly out there was saying. I mean, like, who was it? Paul was saying, I think people are looking for grip circumference reduction. Well, they actually did that. They did that with the Gen 4. The Gen 4 is a smaller grip than every gun before it. So that's there, and that's also in the Gen 5. Now I guess they could do more, but you know, you're going to get to a point where the grip is just tiny. So I don't know if that's the right answer or not. Maybe it is. G-Man is saying some form of innovation or change. All they are doing right now is painting a 1976 Pinto in a different color. I like that. That's good. And you know, a lot of people are saying the exact same thing. You're not alone in saying that. I like the changes they made. I think most of them are good. Some of them are kind of campy, and one of them they left off, which I think is absolutely stupid. The front serrations, why they didn't do that, I just don't understand. But it all has been a very fascinating study, I guess you could say, to just hear what people are saying, because people are saying all these negative things. 85% is a large percentage of people. This is out of about 600 comments I've gotten so far on these 2 videos. However, these guns are selling like hotcakes. So the numbers aren't matching up, at least in my opinion. Either that or people are slamming them and then they're going out and buying them. which is also possible.
Insight has a very great comment. It says, but it is a 5, which is bigger than the number 4, 3, 2, or 1.
That's true.
It's like anything else. People have to have the newest thing. You know, I you know, even in regards to the question that you asked, KS, you know, the whole idea of what does Glock have to do? I honestly don't think Glock has to do anything. I don't think they have to do anything. First of all, people are always going to buy Glocks, you know, and I know there's a lot of Glock haters out there, but I guarantee you 3 years ago, they all owned Glocks, you know, and they can sit here and say CZ, whatever, you know. All I have to say with all you new CZ fanboys, and I know I might insult some of you guys, and I apologize because I'm not trying to. Where were you guys 10 years ago? Where were you guys 15 years ago? Where were you guys in the 80s when CZ was huge in America? And then they disappeared for a while. You know, all of a sudden everybody catches on to these bandwagons, and it's insane, because what you find is the first place they go to bash is Glock. Why? Glock's been around the longest. They've had a very successful track record the longest. So of course they're going to bash Glock, because Glock, no matter how much you want to bash it, is still at the top of its game, because everybody says there's no new innovations. Okay, so let's look at the P10. What innovation did this gun bring? What did it do? A better trigger? Wow. A different shape trigger? Maybe. You know, a grip angle. Serrations in the front? Maybe. But even this gun, to me, isn't a real CZ. Now, again, that's probably going to get people pissed, but I don't really care. And why do I say it's not a real CZ? Because look at this slide. Look where it rides.
Yeah.
So this right here is not a new innovation. This is an old innovation.
Yeah. Well, and what they did, you know, like their statement when CZ came out with that one right there, they said, you know, basically, what was their thing? Something on perfection, fixing on perfection, or something like that.
Right.
You know, they knew who they were going after, so there was no question like that that they weren't.
Scab, at least you bought one of my shirts. I don't care if you buy it. Buy it anyway. Buy it and burn it all you want. Take a dump on it. I don't care. Just buy one.
Yeah.
So
listen, I'm just giving you my opinion, man. I know it doesn't weigh much, but you know, I've owned plenty of good guns, you know, and for whatever reason, I always kind of gravitate back towards Glock, because I don't have any issues with Glock. You know, right now I'm kind of on sour grapes with this damn P10, although I got a lot of great, wonderful, happy people commenting about me being basically an F-head and a tool and all these other things for saying that this gun sucked. Never said this gun sucked, but this gun is failing, and that's a problem.
Well, and like you said, you know, people jump on, and, you know, like the CZ, you know, the P10 when it came out, you know, that's the hottest thing out. So everybody was jumping out and grabbing it. You know, CZ, everybody's grabbing them. You know,
and
the Steyr.
We're guilty of it too, you know?
Yeah, just like the Steyr, you know, you love that gun, and you know, you're recommending other people to get it, so they're buying it. You know, that's what, you know, with the YouTube thing, and that's why some channels are like, oh my God, I got to buy the latest and greatest thing, you know? I mean, it is what it is, and that's kind of what, you know, gun collectors look for. They just look for the next thing that they don't have, or maybe a different version of it. And that's kind of the same with the Glock, you know? I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and, you know, when 6 is going to come out next week.
Yeah, right.
I mean, people will jump on it too, so.
Now, in regards to the Steyr, I got to tell you, though, that is one gun I have had absolutely zero disappointments in. You know, it's a little bit quirky of a gun, you know, based on its thickness and everything. But that gun has yet to let me down. It's a very good gun. You know, I think with me, with the P10 personally, you know, I got a lot of crap because I had the DPM recoil system in there. So people were giving me crap about that. But apparently they don't watch the whole video when I said I actually went back to the stock spring and everything, and I still had issues with it. So I did wind up calling CZ about it, and they sent me an email with its link to fill out the warranty so that they could send me a label to ship it back to them. And I went to the link and it didn't work. It wasn't even a working link. So I actually contacted them last night and they haven't gotten back to me. So I'll give them another day and maybe give them a buzz tomorrow.
Well, they will, but you know, like Will's even bringing up, and you know this too because we've talked about it. You know, the first Steyrs that came out, you know, the first editions,
oh yeah,
you know, without the hole drill in them, they had issues with those. Well, this is the first year of the P10.
Right, right.
So, you know, I mean, people got to work through things, and you know, I remember Wicked way back when we were talking about P10. Wicked was like, "Look, I'm going to wait." Mateo was even like, "I'm going to wait and see." You know, to the bugs. That's why I haven't bought one. Not saying that there were going to be any bugs, but you know, I personally don't need another striker fire right this second. But I probably will get it. You know, I just want to, you know, see what's going to happen with yours, and You know, hell, there's already been people that have what, like 5,000 rounds through them, and so far they're good. So it could have just been, you know, a one-time thing.
Yeah, and like I said, my issues weren't really starting until after I hit the 800 mark. After that, I started having those issues. So
yeah,
it could be something small, and I don't even care. I mean, as long as it's fixed, because I do like the gun enough to want to keep it. You know, it's just a matter of getting it there and seeing what they find, and if they find something and fix it, great. You know, I'm happy because it'll be fixed. You know, I have enough faith in CZ for them to do the right thing, and I know they will at some point.
Yeah, we do have a. Let's see. Oh, I guess Kate. Okay, Wicked saying thinking about a class or something.
Yeah, he was saying he doesn't know how to PM people, and I said Wicked and Big Johnson need to take a class.
I know how to take it. I know how to PM people. It was 17. You were showing how to do it. God damn.
Hey, real quickly, before we totally move away from this, Red and Black did have one last question about the Glock, and he was asking what I would like to see in a Glock if I had my choice. That's a good question. I would actually take the frame from the Gen 5, believe it or not, because I really like the no finger grooves. I've gotten to really enjoy that, and I love the flared magwell. And I would put a Gen 4 top and internals on it, and some good sights, and I'd be in heaven. I think that would be a fantastic Glock. Although I love the Gen 4, but I'm starting to really enjoy the Gen 5. So I'm kind of a happy camper either way, as long as the gun works. That's kind of the thing.
And Captain Phil has any suggestions for a 380 that is reliable and small, but isn't the Glock 42?
Say that one again. I'm sorry.
He has a question that says, any suggestions on a 380 that is reliable and small, but is not the Glock 42?
The Glock 42.
That is not the Glock 42.
The Glock 42. No, I don't know. That would absolutely be my go-to 380. But if does it have to be striker? If it doesn't have to be striker, I would actually recommend like a SIG 238. Those are really nice, but that's a 1911 style operation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was gonna say, if I was gonna recommend one, it would be the SIG. You know, but yeah, it's 1911 style. I had the M&P. You know, I've said this before on other chats. I had the M&P non-Crimson Trace, which is the M&P 380 Bodyguard. It wasn't the Bodyguard, it's just called a 380 M&P. And I was not impressed with it at all. Trigger sucked. Had issues with the mag release, but it was the first when it was out. Also, it wouldn't shoot round nose ammo. So I had to send it in. They'd replace the mag release and the barrel. When I got it back, I sold it. I was done with it.
My question is, though, why, you know, and again, I know we've gone through this 380 discussion before, but my question is, why would you go for a 380 when you can get a pretty small size 9mm? Now, that's the one thing I just can't seem to wrap my head around. I mean, I don't know. Like, I've never owned a 380. And I don't have any plans on it, but I don't see the benefit of owning a 380 when you can own a pretty compact sized 9mm.
Well, ultimately, the 380 is a tad smaller. And some people are wanting a true pocket gun, like literally to put in the pocket. And I think you could probably put a 43 in your pocket, you know, depending on the size of your pocket. But, you know, I'm with you. I would rather have a 9 personally. But
I put the what is it? The PPS M2 in my pocket with that that holster. This holster right here, actually.
Yeah,
this one right here. I had this in my pocket for a week.
I've got a question, and I mean, we can all answer this. Have you ever had a negligent discharge? I haven't, but know some big gun channels who have. The Yankee Marshal shot himself in the foot once. Have y'all ever had a negligent discharge?
Nope.
Negative. No.
I never have.
No.
You know, so, I mean, I'm a big, you know, I don't care if the gun's been laying here for 2 days. I check it. You know, now granted, my guns are loaded usually, and I did unload it just, you know, on the video for here. But, you know, I just don't walk around and start pulling triggers, you know. And if I think I'm going to, I'll check the chamber. Yeah. That's just what I do.
Yeah, the only reason why I would check.
And I'm sure y'all are all in the same boat. Once the gun is in the holster and it's on me, I know it's loaded, so I don't need to press check it. Okay, and I know Wicked's going to love that. But I don't need to press check it. I know it's loaded. And then when I remove it, you know, I leave it in the holster, just set it there, and then I put it right back on. So I know it. I haven't unloaded it in my sleep or anything.
Yeah, I mean, I always check everything twice, triple check. You know, if I mean, there's no point if you can't remember if it's loaded or not, then just check it. What does it take? 3 seconds?
Yeah.
And the reason why is I saw a guy, ran a call on a guy once who blew his hand off cleaning his gun. He was cleaning like a either 357 Magnum or some shit, and you know, he pulled the trigger and the gun went bang and it blew his hand off. So he comes running out to the fire truck with his hand banged. He's like, "I shot my hand off." And my only response was, "Well, did you check the gun before you decided to pull the trigger?" No. Well, there you go. Now you have no hand.
Yeah, no, that's bad. You know, and Sean kind of brings up probably what a lot of people are thinking. You know, he just thinks that everyone's just tired of Glocks. You know, they're kind of the same thing. You know, nothing's really changed on them. And there are different guns. You know, people are watching YouTube videos. They're seeing other guns that might be different or they look different. So some people are probably just trying other firearms too. You know, not saying that they won't ever go back to Glock, but there's other options out there, and there's other choices like 31 flavors of ice cream. Hey, try something different. You know, I've got guns I really like, and then I've got a ton of guns that are completely different. So, and I think y'all do too.
Yeah, the VP9 is for me. But before I started this channel, I was basically a Glock, pretty much a Glock fanboy. I mean, that's basically all I owned for a long time. And then I tried the VP9 and I fell in love with it because the ergonomics were so radically different. The grip angle was very different, and I connected reasonably well with it. And it kind of opened my eyes to say, oh, I need to maybe try some other things and see what's out there. And then I started a gun channel. So, you know.
Yeah, we can say that I press check. I just said I don't press check, but if you ever have a reason to, you can press check. You know, people can do it, but I don't.
Hey, Mule Kicker is asking if any of us have a home defense shotgun. Great question.
Go ahead.
I do. I've got a Remington 870 pump action ready to go. I've had that shotgun for a long time, and it's old reliable, man. It's been with me through a lot. I used to hunt with it. It's been a great gun. So yes, it is ready to go.
I got a shotgun, but it's in my safe, and it's not in my bedroom. I have a handgun in my room. Good enough for me.
I have something coming up, but yes, I'm a big shotgun fan. That's all I'll say.
You have one for home defense, or is that all you'll say?
No, I have one for home defense, but I have something coming up, and I'm not going to say it.
All right.
Gillian has a question. 10 millimeter may not be practical, but anyone planning to get one seems to be making a slight comeback.
No, I'm not getting 10. I'm sticking with my trusty 9s. I'm happy with them.
KS?
I'm not necessarily interested. The only caliber beside 9mm and 45 that I'm really interested in that I have not admittedly ever shot is a 357 SIG. I really want to try that. 10mm, I don't really have an interest in because it's the practical application for it is something I probably would not do. So I just don't have an interest. And I've shot a couple of 40s, didn't care for it. I don't see the use for those at all. So.
Well, with this competition thing that I'm doing, you know, I'm shooting minor now, but if I go into major, you know, I have 45s to shoot and I like it, but with round capacity, that's where you can lose out shooting a 45. So I can either go to a 40 or I can go to a 10 millimeter and they'll hold the same amount of rounds. And I have been looking at a Tanfolio limited, and it's offered in the 40 and the 10 millimeter. But I'm not a reloader yet. So if I was reloading, it might be a 10 millimeter. So
nice.
Let's see here. Have y'all seen any questions I might have missed?
Probably 10 or 15, but we don't necessarily have to hit them all.
Oh, one was the Shockwave. Jesus was asking about the Shockwave. You know, I was really, really interested in it when Texas couldn't have it. And, you know, I was kicking it around, and I think it's going to be a really cool shotgun, you know, more like a novelty. I've seen some tests on the accuracy versus, you know, like an 870 or something to that effect. And, you know, of course, it's a shorter barrel, but I'm probably going to pass on it. I mean, I can buy one now. They have opened it up in Texas, so we can get it now. It's actually the Shockwave law. It was signed, but I don't know. I'm probably going to pass on it.
I would have, if I was an extra in like a Mad Max movie, I'd get one, but I don't have any desire to.
Nice. Hey, we do have a question from Logan. Our thoughts, everybody on the panel and everybody in the audience, thoughts on Canadian gun laws. I will say I know very little about our neighbors to the north and their gun laws. I know that they have guns up there, but I'm not sure what is specific about their laws. I imagine they might be a little bit more restrictive, but that's all I know.
Only thing I know is they have a 10-round capacity. That is all I know.
I don't know. I don't know. I know they're more restrictive. I think they're sort of in the same ballpark with California in regards to their laws and their restrictions that they have.
Yeah.
Not exactly sure.
They are not allowed to carry. I did not know that. So Canadians are not allowed to carry. Is that throughout the entire country, I'm assuming, or is that per province? How does that work? Answer me faster, damn it.
What? I'm sorry?
I was teasing Logan. So yeah, I'd be curious if it was throughout the entire country, although my assumption is yes, probably.
Yeah, he's saying yes, the entire country.
Gotcha.
I mean, I wonder if that's because, you know, I don't know, maybe because it's historically, quote unquote, a less violent country than, let's say, the United States, maybe. You know, let's be honest. I mean, I'm not a Canadian expert, but I'm assuming that at one point in Canadian history, there was probably less immigration to Canada as opposed to the United States. So with that being said, there was probably more of a demand and need for personal protection in the U.S. Based on the fact that, you know, you get more people who are different from parts of the world. And obviously you get kind of a hysteria as how do I keep my family safe? But I'm not sure. You know, I don't know.
Well, Scab's actually chiming in. I know that he's been there for work, and it says you're only allowed to defend yourself with matched force. So if they have a knife, you can respond with a knife.
So what you're saying is if they have a tank, I can have a tank.
You have to go get a tank.
I have a tank. So that's okay. No, I'm good with that.
That'd be pretty cool.
Right?
Well, Bald has a comment too. Canada is not less violent. There's just a lot less people living there.
It's a beautiful country. There's probably less violence too. I mean, let's be real here.
Yeah, it could be. You know, but I mean, and I've said this in other chats, you know, when I went to London, hell, I was there for 7 days. And one night, one guy with a knife, come to find out it was a 6-inch blade, stabbed 11 people on the tram, the little tube. People couldn't take out one guy with a knife.
They do that all the time in New York. That's no big deal.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But
hell, you think somebody'd have a cane or an umbrella or something to freaking take his ass out?
No, because most people will run.
No, that's still true. That's true.
You know, you do that here. If somebody, I guarantee you do that here. Somebody probably has a gun and then they shoot you.
Oh yeah, no, I'm talking about there.
No, that's what I'm saying though.
Yeah.
Like that's why you don't see that so often here. I will tell you, in New York City, you see those stabbings and those beatings with clubs and machetes because nobody has guns in New York City because the carry law there is just impossible.
Yeah. Douglas wants to know how you would kick a moose's ass with no gun.
The force.
Yeah, I'm thinking lightsaber.
Right.
Yeah. Jesus God is saying Texas is huge. Yes, it is. You can drive from west to east and still be in the damn thing in a whole day. It is definitely long. Big state.
Captain, go ahead.
No, I was going to say 1776. What do you use for a holster when you pocket carry the PPS?
Klinger was nice enough to send a bunch of people these pocket holsters. So they sent me one. I haven't reviewed it yet because I wanted to wear it for a while. And I've been wearing it, actually. I've been carrying my little PPS M2 with the flat base plate, the 6-rounder, and it works fine. I mean, it works pretty darn good. You know, it's hard to get used to. I've never pocket carried any handgun. So it takes a little bit of a while to get used to, you know, the pull of the gun and all that other stuff. But it works pretty well. I mean, it's got a nice little rough texture to it. Not rough, but kind of a, I don't know, like a sticky texture or whatever. So once it goes in your pocket, it ain't coming out. You know, it's just a matter of getting a good purchase on the gun. I'm going to do a review on it probably like in this weekend talk about what I like about it. And there's a couple little things I don't like about it, which I think they can change very easily, or even I could with a pair of scissors. But you know,
Yeah.
I'll definitely address that.
We do have a question from the Great American Survival, new to the 3-man chat. What do you think is your favorite dry fire drill?
I like watching porn and you know, just dry firing my gun all the time. That's my favorite drill.
That's not dry firing.
My favorite dry fire is actually it's just whenever I do something, you know, like every once in a while I'll be in the house and I'll have a gun holstered and I'll drop the mag or something like that, you know, because I always carry a gun that's got a full magazine, clear the chamber, and then I'll just draw my gun and point it as fast as I can up to my eye level to see if I'm at least straight with my sights. You know, just basic stuff. You know, my biggest thing practicing isn't pulling the trigger. It's actually unholstering my gun, getting my shirt up, pulling the gun out and directly shooting. I think to me that's the most effective dry fire because, you know, look, high panic anxiety, that trigger is going to get pulled. I've always said that it could be a 52-pound trigger. You're still going to pull it. So, you know, the best thing for me is always just trying to get comfortable with lifting the shirt up, getting the gun high and tight, and then going out and extending. You know, to me, that's the best drill that I do.
What about you, KS?
For me, it's just kind of sitting around and practicing grip, practicing side alignment, and pulling the trigger. I mean, there's really nothing special about it. Just making sure that muscle memory, my hand knows exactly where to go on the gun. I know exactly how to line up the sights, and I'm good to go with it. So it's not terribly special necessarily, but it has definitely improved my my grip and my side alignment over the years.
What I've got is I've got the big steel furniture tacks, and I've got them stuck in the wall. I've got a red one, and then I painted one black, and I'll just go back and forth to them because they're about that big. So aim small, shoot small is, you know, some people put up the big targets. I don't really do that. And then sometimes when I'm watching TV and I'll just start, dry firing at the TV. And then, and I know that other people have been testing this too, but this Mantis training system, they sent me one and I've been putting it on different guns. I've already ran tons of shots with this thing. And I'm really liking it a lot. It's got a gyroscope built in it, so it shows anything you do wrong. And you can only get 100 points. And it'll show every little thing you do wrong. And I've been doing it on double action, single action, and striker fire guns. Anything with a rail you can put it on, even an AR. And on Glocks, you can put them backwards. You just have to log it in that you're putting it backwards. And, right hand, left hand, I mean, it accounts for everything. And it's actually a really great system. I've got a ton of time with that thing, and I really do like it.
Hey, we have a question on here. This is from Great American Survival. Do you guys like 3-dot or another type of sights? That's a great question.
Go ahead.
My preference is anything that I can get a good sight on. It's hard to say. I like the big dots. I like the Pro eye dots or the eye dot pros from Ameriglow. I always say the biggest thing for me is because I'm a right-handed shooter with left eye dominance. I have to bring the gun slightly over to the left and turn my head slightly. So I seem to get a faster acquisition with 2 dots as opposed to 3. But, with practice, 2 eyes open, you can usually get a pretty good, accurate shot. I mean, the Steyr has big dots on them. When I shot the P10, these have 3 dots. Both are great. I actually really like the sights on the P10, the stock sights, even though they're not, night sights. They're very good, very easy to acquire. And I think if you just use one, that's fine. But I don't really have a preference per se. I mean, I'll take whatever comes out. That's good.
What about you, KS?
I do have a couple of preferences. So this is a Glock 17, and I've got the TrueGlow TFX on these. I like them because they're night sights and they're fiber optics, so it's kind of the best of both worlds, all in one package. And you get a little bit more of a high-vis sight in front, so it's easier for front sight acquisition. But that also translates. My ultimate favorite would be either the Ameriglow iDots 17, like you said, or the Trigicon HDs. Either one of those are great. And once again, you guys have seen me shoot. I shoot a little faster, and so front sight acquisition is incredibly important to me. If I've got sights in front that I can't pick up very well, my style of shooting does not work very well, and I look worse even than I do sometimes on camera now.
I have a couple of different ones, and it depends on what you're using it for. You know, on a competition gun, I really love fiber optic because they're so bright. The back sight is blacked out, so it takes you straight to the dot. And I've had the high vis, and I've had all the other stuff, just like y'all have. And then I just, you know, take these also, and I will, you know, black the rears out and paint the front red or orange. So I've got this little high-tech stuff here, which is really cheap. And then, but my favorite, and they are expensive, but my favorite are the Heine sights, straight 8s. You're just putting the dot over the dot to make an 8. And these are my favorite. I had them on my 1911s and other pistols, and that's what they are. But I really do like the Heine sights a lot.
Ooh, Paradox is asking if anyone got the RMR deal from Cabela's. I saw that. Thanks for the post on that. I didn't.
Yeah, me neither. So it's a little too rich for my blood.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't either. I saw that though.
Now, if it was 161, I'd be all over that.
I'll tell you what, if it had been the Shield, the new RMR that's like super low, I would have considered that because those are pretty expensive as well. But no, yeah, I have a Vortex Venom and it does just fine for me.
Yeah, Will is thinking about the straight 8s for his VP9. There they are, Will. So I got something coming out on that. And then Abaddon is being a smart aleck.
I've been actually dry firing this Glock without the beaver tail on it. So, because I've been trying to adjust my grip so my hand meat doesn't get caught. And I think I may have it down. I'm just a little nervous to go out and shoot it without it and rip my friggin' hand open. But whatever. You only live once, right? Might as well rip your hand open while you can.
That's right. Hope it goes well.
Yeah, I was going to say, good luck with that.
Yeah.
Little stitches never hurt anybody.
That's right. It's all good.
What reticle do you guys prefer for a rifle scope?
Well, I'm in the market for a good rifle scope because I don't have one and I need one because I couldn't see anything when I was shooting that Ruger. So I just used the red dot I had. And,
that's a good one.
Yeah, I think I'd like to get that. That's the scout scope, right? Because that's how I have my setup.
But they make them for all of them, and they're I mean, you know, but he's talking about, I mean, reticle. I mean, this one's a crosshair, but it worked great. I mean, this one, you know, it's a scout, so it's not set up for super long distance, you know. But that's not what a scout's designed for. But so I'm trying to keep it true to a scout, which is a this one is a 2x7 or 2x7x32. So, but and I know that there's, you know, Coda Boy does a lot of scopes. I mean, there's other people on here that do tons of scopes too. Yeah.
Yep. You know, I wanted to ask you guys a question about this. I was watching a YouTube video, and this guy, I don't know what video it was about accuracy, shooting accurately. And he was talking about shooting. Oh, you know what it was? He was shooting 25 yards with a pistol. And he was saying that, you know, anybody can shoot steel and make it sound good. You know, when you're hitting steel, you just hear bang, 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 bang.
Bing, bing,
He said, but if you want to really test your accuracy, you shoot paper at 25 yards or whatever you're doing. And he made a lot of good, interesting points. I wish I could remember where the hell that video was. So I wanted to get your input on that, because for me, you know, I don't shoot steel because I can't, although I did absolutely love shooting steel for the first time the other day with the rifle. But, you know, for me, I shoot paper. I feel like paper for me is making me a better shooter over time. You know, I remember when I started shooting and I was like, Jesus, I suck. And I still partially suck every once in a while. But for the most part, I feel like I'm getting better. And I think I owe it to just getting more competent with the handgun and actually shooting paper. If I was shooting steel, I wouldn't give a crap, because all I'd be looking for is that hitting of the sound. And, you know, I've been watching a lot of videos on other channels, and they're always shooting steel now, but you never really get to see what they're doing. So you don't know what the actual grouping is. You don't know where they're actually hitting on the steel. It sounds cool, or to just keep shooting paper.
For me, the only time I've ever shot steel was when I used to compete. That was a lot of fun. I mean, obviously the feedback of the ringing steel is a lot of fun. But I'm with you for practical practice, at least for me, and this is totally personal opinion. Paper works just a little bit better, and then also from a video standpoint, it shows better, at least from an indoor range. It doesn't sound as good, but I think it looks a little bit better. So that's what I have at my disposal, and it works just fine.
Yeah, and I mean, I shoot paper, and at these competitions, they've opened up steel. We just shot that action pistol one, so we had 14 steel plates in a row, and we had to put one on each and then reload and come back down. And it was a lot of fun. I mean, I haven't had a ton of recent steel, but it is neat hearing the dinging or the ping ping ping. But yeah, if you're going for super accuracy, you definitely want to stick it on paper. I mean, I think.
Or you can do what Ball does and shoot 4-inch steel.
Yeah. Well, hell, these were as big as my hand opened, which is pretty big, but they were 10 yards away, so it was. It wasn't like a big old hunk of steel.
Now, Bald, I have to ask, though, before we move on, you only shoot 4-inch steel at the standard 100 yards, right? I'm just checking, just making sure.
With one arm tied behind your back and both eyes closed. Don't forget.
Right, and only a Derringer. Only.
There you go. Yeah, over the shoulder, too. Let's see here. Yeah, and I had a question. Why did I pick the Scout over the Ruger? After it was all said and done, I got that Savage Scout for $399, and it was a $600 rifle.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
Yeah, it's got the AccuTrigger and everything, and it shot great yesterday.
I thought about a gun like that, but I can't get it behind a bolt action. It's just not for me. Plus, I'm a left-hand. I shoot lefty right with the rifles, which is ridiculous. Yeah,
well, they're actually coming. That is Savage just actually released yesterday. They're coming out with left-hand versions of all their rifles.
Great, more money I can't spend.
Well, this one has a 10-round clip or 10-round magazine too, but I was shooting out of the magazine first, and then I just pulled the magazine and started loading them individually since I was shooting 3 and cleaning. But still a bolt action. You're right. Let's see here. Anybody going to Knob Creek machine gun shoot? I'm not.
No, what's no.
So Young Guns is saying the new Caracal F is a winner. Have you ever shot that gun? Do you even know? Because I didn't think they released that yet.
Wait, is that a pistol?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I mean,
it's pretty nice. You know what it looks like? It looks a lot like a like a skinnier version of a Steyr, and like a P10 had a love child.
Nice.
I mean, it looks nice. It looks really nice, and I've heard a lot of good things about it. It's got a nice trigger, nice ergos, really low bore axis. But I just haven't seen any of them being sold. But I could be wrong. I don't know.
Where? Who makes it?
Caracal. It's like it's out of the Arab Emirates, I think, or something like that.
Gotcha.
So I know if you were to review that gun, they'd call you a sponsor of terrorism.
Yeah.
Just like if you buy a German gun, you're a Nazi, and if you buy an American gun, you're a cowboy or something like that. I don't know.
Well, we're pretty crazy in Kansas. Okay.
Yeah,
that is true. That is true.
Yep.
Does it involve Knob Creek bourbon? Well, Insight, I don't know what you're talking about, but you had me at Knob Creek bourbon. I'm in.
He had you at Knob.
Hey. True, but hey.
No, I think hell, I think it'd be cool to go to any shoot.
All right, Mateo's saying you got to carry your gun with a zip tie through it while attending.
Yeah, that's like at gun shows. They do the same thing.
Can I just have the zip tie around the grip and that's all? Would that be okay?
Or the barrel.
No, it's just the grip. Just the grip.
Yeah, you can probably do that and they'll chase you down.
Sweet.
So Young Guns has it in North Carolina, 500 plus rounds, and it's sweet. Well, that sounds pretty interesting. If you don't mind me asking, how much did you pay for it? Just out of curiosity.
$1 a round.
Probably paid. I think they're cheap. I think they're cheaper than the Strike Bs. Strike Bs are freaking expensive, man.
Yeah, they are expensive. Ha ha, Al. That's funny. I like that. I do too, but I still drink.
Will saying he saw him for $5.59.
That's not bad. That's really good.
Yeah. Hell, that's a little more than a Steyr.
Yeah. Well, I'll keep my Steyrs. Those aren't going anywhere. Those are going
He said
nowhere.
$5.25 out the door.
Wow.
I may have to look into that gun.
Thank you, Al. Back at you.
All right. Well, we haven't done it yet. Gun check. What everybody carry today?
Nothing. I carried nothing. I was at work at around 6:30, and I didn't get home till about 5. And then when I got home, the wife and kids were home, so that was it. No gun for me today.
KS?
Laptop.
Okay. I carried the P01.
Nice.
And Wicked carried his G43 today. Insight, his P07. Will, VP9. Mateo, Canic, C140.
Hey,
Paradox. Paradox carried his Shield. Where's the P01, Paradox? Cajun Tiger, CZ Rammy. And the Big Daddy, PCR. Live for Wild, Smith & Wesson Shield. Sean, P07. Rich, Glock 43, Gen 5, he says.
What is this Gen 5 thing, Rich? You got to talk to me about this, brother.
He's pissed off.
I know.
Scab got his P07, Knuckles PPS M1. Let's see, P09, G-Man is P09, all as everyday workday. Good. Let's see, Alan, he didn't leave the house but carried a P320. Bald and Curious LCP2, Keenan G30, Corey Shield. Oh, Jesus carried a Snake Slayer 410. Then his 38 Pico. Great American Survival, CZ P07 Gen 2. Let's see. Oh, Paradox carried his P01 all last week. Great American G43, Glock 27 for Eric. Young Guns carried his APX.
Dude, that wins. That's the winner.
Proud.
Stop now, because that I think is the big gun of the day. Well done, Young Guns. Well done.
Yep. Jay Gregg had his G19. LZ US is VP9 SK. And then Will's asking, Gen 5 really is a G43? No. Carried Tattoo Dragon, Glock 19. The P01 with decocker, can you decide it at all with the safety installed? P01, you can't change it. So get the decocker. And that was it. So what do y'all got coming up?
Go ahead, Cass.
So my next endeavor, and I'm late to the party with this. This is a Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0. So I've been spending a little bit of time with this. I'll have my first video hopefully coming out this weekend. So you'll get to see whether I like it or don't like it.
Okay.
Let's see. I got a belt that I'll be doing a review on once I start wearing it. I did some shooting with the Glock, and I'll show that to you guys at some point. And got a couple of guns on the way. I got the Steyr L9, which I can't wait to shoot it. And I also got an M&P 2.0 with a kick-ass deal, so I couldn't resist that. And well, I got another Glock coming, but I'm not telling you what it is, or at least which one. And it's not Gen 5.
What's a Glock?
It's a
It's
Glock.
a Glock. We already know what it is. It's 1 through 5.
And it's not a Gen 5. Not a Gen 5.
I know. I said it's one of them, 1 through 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a Gen 618.
Yeah. It's a Gen 21.
Yes.
But that's it. And then maybe someday the Strike B.
Yeah. Oh, and Sean, yeah, on the P01 Omega, yes, you can. Yeah, I was talking about the non-Omega one. I've got the VP 9+5 mags. Going to be running a bunch of those. So got those set up, and got the clinger, you know, the same holster you have. I'll be probably releasing a video on the Mantis because I've been messing with that thing for 2 months. And I've got a what's in the box, but I haven't. And I want to, you know, while we're on here, do you guys enjoy the what's in the box video or just open the box? And you'll notice on the 75, or excuse me, the 97B, I didn't do a pre what's in the box. And holster come in and some other stuff. So
Sounds good.
that's what I have.
Hey, everybody, don't forget, we've got the C-Max raffle part 2 coming up in a half an hour.
Yeah, that's right. Don't forget that.
Right.
And we also got some info on the old CZ Mafia for Life shirt. I don't know if one of you guys wants to talk about that. And, you know, if
Yeah. It's now been taken down. There were 15 shirts sold. So Abaddon will be taking care of C-Max on that. So the profits of those will be going, and that shirt has been taken off the site. It's discontinued now. So if you didn't get one, you can't get one now. But there's some other stuff coming. So, and if you haven't checked out Abaddon Apparel, all of our stuff's on there. There's other YouTube channel stuff on there. And of course, Abaddon has his own gear on there too. And it is a Second Amendment site also, not just apparel. You can go on and read articles, etc.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff on there. Humble Marksman has a couple of really good blogs on there right now, and more on the way. So so there's some pretty cool stuff.
And just so you know, Crazy Scotsman said it's on his channel tonight.
Okay.
Coda Boy is sleeping.
Any other final questions? I guess I'm getting what's in the box, leave it, and then some just say open the damn box because people bitch about it.
Do whatever you want to do.
Well, I would. It's my channel. I'll do what I want to do.
That's
I was just
right.
getting opinions. Let's see here. All right.
I think that's
I guess
it.
that's it. Well, as always, we appreciate y'all so much for tuning in. And please check out the Crazy Scotsman's giveaway. You know, it's definitely all for C-Max. That's what it's all about. And we will see y'all next Wednesday.
Yeah,
All
thank
right.
you,
See you
everybody.
guys. Have a good
Thank
night.
y'all very much. Carry on.
Later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.